At some point today, you may open a message, join a call, move a ticket, swipe a badge, answer a customer, or leave your keyboard untouched for 12 minutes. To you, these are fragments of a working day. To your company, they may be data. And somewhere between the data and your next performance review, a dashboard may be building a version of you. Not you, exactly. A measurable you. Responsive or slow. Active or idle. Productive or behind. Reliable or risky. You may still have a human manager. But the numbers deciding what that manager sees may already come from software. This is not a story about a robot taking the manager's chair. It is about something quieter. The manager stays. The judgment moves into the dashboard. And by the time a decision reaches you, the most important part may have happened inside a system you never knew was watching. The formal term is algorithmic management. The OECD defines it as software, sometimes including artificial intelligence, that fully or partly automates tasks traditionally performed by human managers. That can mean assigning work, setting schedules, tracking output, evaluating performance, recommending who receives an opportunity, who needs intervention, and who appears to be falling behind. In 2025, the OECD published a survey covering more than 6,000 firms in France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Spain, and the United States. Its conclusion was not that every workplace had become an automated control room. It was more careful, and more important. Algorithmic management tools were already commonly used in most of the countries studied. Managers often believed these tools improved the quality of their decisions and even their own job satisfaction. But managers also reported concerns. Unclear accountability. Systems whose logic was difficult to follow. And inadequate protection of workers' physical and mental health. That contradiction is the real story. A dashboard can make work visible. It can also make the wrong version of work look official. Imagine two employees. One closes a large number of simple tickets. The other spends hours preventing a serious failure that never appears in the weekly count. The dashboard sees volume. It may not see difficulty. It sees response time. It may not see the conversation that saved a client. It sees activity. It may not see judgment. Every metric begins by leaving something out. That does not make metrics useless. It makes them incomplete. The danger begins when incomplete information stops being one input and becomes the reality everyone is forced to serve. Then workers adapt. Not necessarily to do better work. To produce better traces. The inbox is touched faster. The status light stays green. The easy task moves first because it closes cleanly. The difficult conversation waits because it does not fit the graph. The metric was meant to describe the work. Now the work is being redesigned to satisfy the metric. And no secret order is required. The system changes behavior before it changes anyone's contract. The United States Government Accountability Office examined this world in a report published in 2025 and revised on December 10 of that year. GAO reviewed 122 studies that met its standards for methodological quality and interviewed stakeholders from 11 organizations. Its findings were balanced. Digital surveillance can support safety and operations. Some tools can identify hazards or health problems. But surveillance can also increase stress and anxiety. It can push people to work faster in ways that raise injury risk. And when monitoring tools rely on flawed productivity benchmarks, ignore parts of a worker's responsibilities, or are used for a purpose they were not designed for, the consequences can reach performance evaluations, pay, discipline, or termination. Notice the key word. Can. The evidence does not say every monitored worker will be harmed. It says the design and use of the system can create a path from a bad measurement to a real consequence. That path matters because software changes the scale of management. A human supervisor can misunderstand one person. A flawed rule can misunderstand 1,000 people before lunch. This is the paradox of automated objectivity. The number feels neutral because it is a number. The ranking feels fair because everyone entered the same system. But the system still contains choices. What counts? What does not? Which behavior becomes suspicious? How long is too long? Which outcome is rewarded? Who decided? And who can correct it? Those are management decisions, even when they arrive disguised as settings. The International Labour Organization has warned that AI systems at work can reshape the psychosocial environment through surveillance, work intensification, reduced autonomy, privacy concerns, and data-driven management. This does not mean technology is automatically hostile. The same ILO analysis recognizes possible gains in efficiency, productivity, and safety. The issue is control. Who can see the system? Who can challenge its conclusion? And who carries the risk when the system is wrong? For the worker, algorithmic management can create a strange new relationship with authority. You are not arguing with your manager's observation. You are arguing with a summary of a score derived from a model of your behavior. Your manager may not know how the score was produced. Human oversight can become a ceremonial click. The person is still in the loop, but the machine has framed the choice before the person arrives. This is why transparency alone is not enough. Knowing that a system exists does not help if nobody can explain what it measures. An explanation does not help if errors cannot be corrected. A correction process does not help if the employee risks punishment for using it. And human review is not meaningful if the reviewer has no authority, no time, or no evidence beyond the same dashboard. In December 2025, the European Parliament called for new rules on algorithmic management in the workplace. The legislative initiative report passed by 451 votes to 45, with 153 abstentions. Members called for human oversight, information for workers about collected data, and restrictions on processing private conversations, off-duty data, and information about emotional or psychological states. This was a request for legislation, not a final universal ban. But it reveals how the argument has changed. The question is no longer whether algorithmic management exists. The question is what limits it requires. And while lawmakers debate the system, workers still have to live inside it. So what can you actually do? Start with 5 questions. First, what data is being collected? Not just what software is installed. What events, behaviors, locations, messages, times, scores, or inferences become part of your record? Second, which decisions can that data affect? Scheduling? Pay? Promotion? Discipline? Termination? Or is it genuinely limited to safety and workflow planning? Third, what does the system fail to see? Complexity, mentoring, prevention, emotional labor, quality, accessibility needs, and work performed outside the tracked channel often disappear first. Fourth, how can an error be challenged and corrected? There should be a person, a process, and a record. Not a generic assurance that the system is accurate. Fifth, who is accountable? The vendor? Human resources? Your manager? An executive? If every answer points somewhere else, the system has power without ownership. These questions are not anti-technology. They are basic management hygiene. A useful system should survive them. A trustworthy employer should be able to answer them. The future of work may not look like a machine replacing the boss. It may look like the boss entering a meeting with a score already glowing on the screen. The danger is not simply that the score is wrong. It is that everyone begins acting as if the score is the most real thing in the room. Your work is larger than its digital exhaust. Your judgment is larger than your activity log. And any system powerful enough to shape a career should be visible enough to question. This is Cold Memo. Subscribe for the workplace stories companies do not put in the press release. And in the comments, answer one question without naming your employer. What does your workplace measure that does not actually capture your